All right, we have ranked all of the Project Zomboid traits. We have ranked all of the Project Zomboid occupations. So let's go ahead and close out this unintentional trilogy with ranking all of the Project Zomboid cities and other notable independent landmarks. So, as far as the tiers in this one goes, Forever Home material. This is the place you could end your playthrough in and be happy. Worth a few trips is what it says on the name. This is worth going to a few times for various loot it may or may not hold, but you probably won't want to live here. Fine is for middle of the road type locations. Worth a visit, singular, is exactly that. You should go here exactly once to say you visited it and have officially seen it, but it's not worth trips other than that. Not even for major loot. And don't go is for the places you should try to avoid, like they're radioactive, which they could be for all I know. So, first up is going to be the abandoned town near the edge of the map. Sometimes called Tanglewood, sometimes called Riverwood. This place is worth a singular visit because it is quite the cool location. It has an abandoned factory that is a super unique set piece. No other town has this. All of the houses here have unique layouts. That's not something every town can boast. The problem is that all of those unique layouts are complete trash, and all of these houses make the streets of Detroit, Michigan look like a nice place to live. With the exception of exactly one of them. There is one house here that is in good repair and will always spawn a few high-level animal traps, and is a good place to live if you need somewhere away from all the chaos and you're out near Riverside. This abandoned town tends not to be very populated at all on most settings I have ran, so if you need a refuge from all of the nonsense, it could be worth looking into. But you're really going against yourself if you choose to live here. Still worth a visit though, to check out. Next up is going to be the Dixie Mobile Park. Unless what you need is food or you're specifically calling this place over for survivor houses, don't go here. It is way too populated for the amount of loot on offer here. There's a gas station. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. There's just a bunch of trailer homes, which, while tend to have food and has a high chance one of them might generate as a survivor house, is otherwise basically worthless. Food isn't hard to find. There's a diner, which has tiles. I guess you can steal that for your base, but other than that, not really worth picking up. And nothing else good on offer here. If you go a little bit further north, you will eventually run across the Crossroads. There's a clothes store there. There's an used car lot. There's a Spiffos. And there's a gas station. You pass through Dixie on your way to something better. I would not see anyone willingly living here. Ballas Lake, on the other hand, is fine. It's a bit populated for all that is here. This place can be ridiculous. But that said, if you can clear it out, it's a nice cozy little place to live. You're out near some farmhouses, including one of the most popular base spots in the game, the Central Farmhouse. It's a good place to live. The gas station here, I have seen a lot of cool bases be made here. All of the houses here are pretty good. It's a reasonably sized settlement, so you're probably going to find at least one survivor house here. The church is a super nice building. And there's plenty of water in case you want to invest in fishing and just bettering yourselves in a survivalist capacity. Ballas Lake is okay. I could see myself living here and being happy for a while. It would not be end of playthrough type material. Next up is going to be Louisville. Louisville? Louisville. I'm pronouncing it Louisville. Yeah, this is going in forever home material. That's not a surprise to anybody. This is the biggest city that exists in the game right now. It has all of the loot you would ever want in every category you would ever want. It has a ton of good base locations to choose from. And sure, while being the biggest city in the game means it's extremely populated, by the time most players get here, you're probably looking for the challenge. Louisville is the best location in the game. There's a reason why so many people will just rush here and just live here. I personally don't, because I'm scared. You know what else I'm scared of? March Ridge. Don't go to March Ridge unless you get the God Spawn Survivor House, apartment complex, and hidden map. If you've ever gotten that map, it marks the big apartment complex in March Ridge as an entire survivor house. Now that's worth going after if you get it. If you do not get it, don't bother coming to this cesspit. For the amount of loot on offer, which a majority of this place is just residential homes, this place is infested. I have seen the streets of West Point be clear on a bad day. Do not go to March Ridge. It is not worth it. You will die here, or you will waste all of your ammo, and assume you didn't get the apartment complex survivor home, you're not getting that ammo back. You wasted here. It's just not happening. Next up is Muldraugh. Muldraw's worth a few trips, actually. There's a ton of industrial loot here. There's some really good base locations. The gated community, the bar, the large warehouse. There's a farm in the northern extreme of town that's worth visiting and making a base out of. A couple cabins in its nearby orbit. Muldraw's a good place. It's the first on this list that is a spawn town, which gives it an edge. You can choose to start out here and get a head start on base building. And it is one of the oldest locations in the game. It was one of the first towns added, it and West Point. So it is generally worth a visit if you can get here. Next up is going to be the oh so fine town of Riverside. Now, I love Riverside. It's where I typically choose to start my playthroughs. That said, it's below Muldraugh as far as being worth a few trips, because while there is really good loot here, you're also in the end of nowhere. You have to drive so far to find literally anything else. There's not very many good base locations here. The loot that is on offer is fine, but you can do better. You can easily get into a mindset where you're just trapped in Riverside forever, unwilling to move on because you put all your eggs in one basket here. But that said, I do like it. It has a nice aesthetic going. It is one of the least busy towns, even on higher population settings. It has good utilities. It has a VHS store. It has several bars. Riverside's a good place. I just would spawn somewhere else, especially if you're new, so you don't get trapped in the mindset of only being able to function here. Rosewood is where most people will recommend you start out, and for that reason I would say it's better than Riverside. You can also choose to spawn here. One of the most popular base locations in the game is the firehouse here. It has a well-stocked police station. That fire station tends to have quite a few axes. It has a Gigamart. It has an auto repair shop, a gas station. Rosewood is a fine place to live. Though, that said, take caution if you choose to live here, as it is the only one of these towns that I do not know where the long-term water source is. Muldraw, it's near the gated community. Go down a bit, you'll find a lake. Go up near the farms, you'll find more lakes. Riverside, you're by the river. Rosewood, I don't think has any big lakes nearby, so fishing's off the table. You can invest in trapping and foraging and farming. That's a good way to live. It's the smallest of the spawn towns. So you may actually feasibly run out of loot here if you live long enough. And will eventually have to pack up and move on. But I can see why people choose to just live in Rosewood forever. Next up is the wider region known as Doe Valley. This is where Fallas Lake is actually located. I'd say it's worth a few trips, though, passing through the whole region. This is where pretty much all of the farms are located. You have various utilities like produce warehouses. You have a couple military encampments with nice houses. Those places actually make okay bases if you can get to them. You have the central farmhouse. All of the wells on the map are concentrated here. So if you want just an infinite source of clean water, you'll have to live here. Or just make rain collectors, they're not that hard. But the thing that makes Doe Valley really stand out is located in the far west region of it. There's a military surplus store here. A lot of people forget about this location. Do not forget about this location. It is an amazing place to find guns, ammo, military clothes, and military backpacks. Camping supplies live here too. That's a good thing to keep in mind. And depending on how far you're willing to extend the boundaries, there is a hunting and gun store on the far edge near the highway that leads up to the abandoned town of Tanglewood. If you need to start a gun-heavy playthrough, you will pass through this region at least once. Simply put, that military surplus store is amazing. And the rest of the farmhouses all make pretty good bases. All of them have their own unique charm. And my favorite one is the central farmhouse because of the well and having the most pleasant actual house layout. Now, you have to pass through Valley Station to get to Louisville. That's true. But for the love of all that is holy, do not stay here. The amount of zombies in Valley Station is ridiculous for the amount of nothing that is on offer. The only notable landmark in this location is the Crossroads Mall, which is a complete hornet's nest that if you kick into, you are likely to die. If you can get in there, it's fine. But why would you bother when Louisville has a bigger and better mall that is about as much effort to get into? And you're in Louisville, so you probably have a safe base to return to when it inevitably takes several days to clear. You do not have that luxury in Valley Station. There is no safe location here. You will die in Valley Station. Don't go here. Ever. West Point is weird. The actual town has a lot of good loot on offer. It has one of the best base locations in the game out west. If you keep following the river, you'll find the 3 mansions and the small woodland cabin near the lake. It is the gateway to Louisville. You have to pass through here on your way to the big city to get to Valley Station, which leads up to the actual gates. And it's a spawn town. But all of that said, this place is a real nightmare to survive in unless you're really experienced, because there is a reason why this place is a meme. The amount of zombies that spawn on its streets are stupid. For a small town in rural Kentucky, there should not be this many. But if you can brave all of the hordes, it's worth the visit. There is a lot of good loot here on offer. It is a amazing location, honestly, if you have the guts for it. If you do not have the guts for it, then just pass through it on your way to the big city and leave it all behind. Maybe hit a few important points of interest like the gun store and Twiggy's, and then move on. If you do have the guts though, this place might be forever home material. As it stands, I'd say it's worth at least a few trips to get all the important stuff. The Louisville checkpoint is worth at least one visit per playthrough, I would say. You have to pass through here on your way to the rest of the city unless you use the hole in the fence that is alongside of it. And while the zombie population is large, the amount of guns and ammo you get here is really good. You can get military equipment here quite easily too. I have found several camo backpacks. It's not the kind of place I would want to live, because there's nothing really worth living in here for. Generators also spawn here quite often. In fact, they're hard spawns. They're some of the only guaranteed generator spawns on the map. So I would say it is worth one visit per playthrough, especially if you're already planning on going to Louisville. You have to pass through it, so might as well stop by a few days and load up on guns, ammo, medical supplies, if that's what you're into. There's a good amount of food. You can get a lot of propane tanks. There's a lot of barbecues around here. If you want to do any sort of metalworking or just want to keep a propane grill running, good place to stop by. There's a ton of cars and a ton of tents. Worth passing through. Not worth staying, but worth passing through. The secret military base, which I'm ranking first instead of the prison. Okay, I would say it is worth the visit to check out because it is such a unique location. But I'm putting it in the very top of don't go because getting here is such an ordeal. Do you guys want to see where this place is on the map? Let me show you something, okay? You probably recognize it. The secret military base is here. Let me zoom in a bit. Don't recognize it? Oh, you know, it's near Rosewood, although it doesn't look that far. Well, let me zoom in a bit more. Yeah. Do you see all of this crap you have to drive through to get here? All of this is infested with infected, and it's all dirt roads, which means that your car will get bogged down and worn, and if you come here later on in a playthrough, you will have to bring an axe to cut down all of the trees that are going to spawn and clog up the roads leading here. The pavement only starts when you are this far in. And then you still have a while to go. It's still going to be infested along this road before you get to the parking lot, so you can get to the actual cool research base, which at the very least is a neat location. It is not a neat enough location for the ordeal it takes to get here. Do not go to the secret military base. It is not even worth saying you went, unless you are just looking for the bragging rights of saying you managed to go through Hell Alley to go down all the dirt roads leading here. Which sucks, because it is such a cool location otherwise that I would say it is worth the visit. There's just gotta be an easier way. The prison is fine. There's a lot of good loot here. It has an extremely well-stocked armory. There's a small library. There's an absolute metric ton of zombies. The absolute metric ton of zombies is this location's biggest challenge, because on even just normal population settings, it is absolutely crawling with them. Like, I have easily seen about 1,000 zombies spawning here on default population. That is arguably not worth it, or it's worth simply getting as close to the armory as you can, doing a smash and grab of anything valuable, leaving and never thinking about the prison ever again. I have seen some really crazy people make bases out of this place, but it's so large that one person does not need all this space. If you're running a group in multiplayer, maybe, you know, Walking Dead style, but otherwise the prison is just sort of fine. Our last location is going to be the only one not connected to the default map at all. Kingsmouth Island. Kingsmouth Island is worth a playthrough if you've never gone here. It is such a unique location. Every house here is unique, except for the vacation homes, which are all templates. Every house in the actual main town is unique. There are buildings here that do not exist on the main map at all. There's the giant resort. There's the military base that has the highest guns and ammo spawn in the game. If you're running any sort of weapon mods, go to Kingsmouth on the challenge map, teleport yourself to the military base using debug mode, and just test out your arsenal. Have a world. It is a blast. There's good base locations here. There's a lighthouse. There's an isolated cabin on its own small sub-island. There's a couple large mansions that I would love to turn into a base one of these days. Kingsmouth Island, you might be stuck here because it's in the middle of the ocean, but it's worth living here forever. And if you're using a map mod that incorporates Kingsmouth with the rest of the map, this is a good place to retire. Get yourself a boat, you're going to need it. Don't try to bridge over here, it's a waste of time. But other than that, Kingsmouth is alright. I wish there were more locations like this, and it's why I like going to some of the more unique map mods like Copper State, Arizona, or Facility 7, places like that. I love seeing unique locations that aren't just Kentucky in this game. More of these, please, Indystone. And that is going to do it for the Build 41 Cities and Notable Landmarks tier list. Pretty much no major upsets here, I would say. Other than the fact that some people might say the military base is worth a visit. I think I've explained why it is not. Other than that, though, I'm proud of the list I came up with. If you liked this video, like, favorite, share, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video, whatever that may be. All right, peace out, everyone.